Yo, what is up? Figured I'd take a little ride. I'm on the KTN 790. But as you can tell from the title, I sold my BMW. I sold the BMW GS Adventure just the other day. Well, it's officially gone, so I'm gonna talk about you know, why I sold the BMW. We'll take a little cruise on the KTN 790 up here. Take this trail that goes to this lookout. But I got the new Scott's steering stabilizer on. Can't tell. Might not be able to see it. There you go. I'm giving that a test run. See how that goes. I got it set in stock positions. You want to check that out, go ahead. I just did a video on that, but I'll link to that. There's some pretty nice spots out here. Yeah, it's a little trickier to turn the camera on and off with the GoPro. I got a little bit to get used to with that stuff. But I want to check the angle out, take a test ride on the Scott's. I'll talk about the BMW GS Adventure and why I sold it. It is a phenomenal bike. Phenomenal bike. And it did me really good. I didn't really have any trouble with it. The back brake would need to be bled once in a while, but that was it as far as mechanically. But that bike took me across the country, across the United States multiple times. And it's excellent for touring. And why did I buy a BMW GS Adventure 1200? Well, I really loved touring. Look at this view. Oh, awesome. But I really loved touring. And I wanted to tour the country with Brian. We took a couple trips, and I did one on a GS, because I first bought a GS. I was living in the Midwest, wasn't really doing any off-roading. I was just running back roads and street riding it, and it was a blast. But I wanted the fuel capacity, and I went to a GS trophy event in like Missouri, and there was dudes out there running GS Adventures, and I was like, man, I want to do that. I want to learn to ride a big bike and on and off road, and I had it. I bought it. It's a 17, but I bought it in the middle of 18 with like 12 miles on it from the dealer. Brand new, triple black. Me and Brian, we took more trips with that too. Where did we go? I think we went up north, the Dakotas, and over to Montana and Idaho, and it was a lot of fun. All street touring. And then the next year we went to Alaska. I basically rode it. I basically had it for 2.5 years, and I did 48,000 miles on it. From the trips up to the Dakotas and Montana the one year, and then the next year we did Alaska, and that was 8,000 miles over 21 days. I got that whole series you could check out, and that was a hell of an awesome trip. And the GS Adventure is awesome for that. Super awesome for that. You know, would I want to take this bike, the 790, to Alaska? Not the way it is right now. It would be more of an adventure than that BMW was, that's for sure. It just don't have the wind protection. There's a deer. It just doesn't have the wind protection. Oh, look at this, my first water crossing on the 790. Huh. Yeah, so we rode to Alaska, and the BMW GS Adventure R1200 is the perfect bike for that. You could probably take any bike up there and do it, but it was a pretty comfortable ride. And at that point, I really wasn't riding off-road. I was out here in Vegas and run some gravel roads and stuff, but I wasn't really running off-road. But I wasn't really trying to do BDRs. I didn't start doing BDRs with the BMW until after I got back from Alaska. It's a phenomenal bike and I loved it, and it was doing everything I wanted it to for what I was doing. And then as I started getting off-road and riding it more and more off-road and doing more and more sections of the BDRs, I realized how much work those BMW GS Adventures are. And I learned real quick, and a lot of people will argue, which is fine, they can. They have a right to their opinion, but I learned with more and more experience riding that bike off-road, it's a ton of work, and if it's a gravel road or a fire road, you're good, but when you start getting off in trails or some serious Jeep roads or like thick sand and stuff, it can be deadly. It's just not made to be a serious off-road bike. And people will argue that, and BMW does a really nice job of marking that it does more than that, but it's a lot of work off-road. Is it capable off-road? Yeah, it's capable of some stuff, but and thick sand, that 19-inch front tire, and all that weight. Because let's face it, when I weighed my motorcycle with all my gear and everything, like my tools, I had 50 pounds of gear, and that's just stuff I'm carrying between tool kit, tire kit, first aid, clothes for a trip, camera equipment for a trip. I don't think 50 pounds is that bad, honestly, and that's my camping gear included, all my gear. I don't think it was that bad. Can I narrow that down? Probably. I'm gonna try to narrow that stuff down, but I was 700 pounds with that. 725 pounds loaded. And that ain't no shit. That's heavy. 725 pounds, that's heavy. So as I wanted more and more off-roading goals, and I came to the conclusion that I don't want to run every single BDR, and I don't have to complete every single BDR, but I did want to ride more BDRs, and I have 2 of them right by my house. And California and the Nevada, and the California is difficult. I tried it on that 1200 GS, and the thick sand is just, it's too much. And that's why I think California is so difficult, because it's so thick. It's super thick. So I want to do BDRs. I'm not determined to do all of them. I'll probably never get out east to go do them, because I'm so tired of traveling through the Midwest after living in St. Louis for like, I don't know, 8 years, something like that. I enjoy them though, and I want to ride them, and I don't want to work so goddamn hard at doing them. People will say, oh, it's just your skill level and they're capable, and well, watch when I do stuff on this bike. Doesn't make me a better rider, but it's gonna allow me to go through more stuff easier for sure, which will allow me to go through more. I'll just let the videos do the talking. You'll see that this bike goes through more, and it ain't because I got better all of a sudden. It's because those big bikes, they're work, man. They're work. And I love it. I love that BMW GS Adventure, and I'm gonna miss it, but I'm not gonna miss what it does off-road, what it's did to me off-road. I almost gotta get a view of this. Look at that. Pretty sweet. But yeah, I got a video where I picked that thing up like 12 times on the Nevada BDR. And that ain't no shit. Stefan refers to it as my 12 pickup. My 12 pickup video. And yeah, I was pretty much done after that. Because it took everything just to get out of there. And it's, you know, it's just work. And it's work on any big bike. I'll tell you that much. This is work here. Little rutted out shit. See, like, this is going through. I'm just gonna see myself going through more stuff I would have not been able to go through on the GS already. And one thing, when a bike's that big and that heavy, when you're off-road, like, it's exhausting. And I'm not talking about just picking it up. This is just balancing it, like, all that stuff. You know, I went through a lot of torture trying to ride that thing off-road. And I always wanted to, like, ride a big bike. I wanted to learn to ride a big bike. I wanted to be competent in riding a big bike. On-road at first. And then after I got more confident, I was willing to try more once I got here to Vegas. You know, and I don't know how many miles I put off-road. I did, like, most of the Nevada BDR, like 2 sections of California BDR. I did most of Idaho, I would say half of Idaho, until the people I was with wanted to stop. You know, I did some Colorado stuff a little bit, so I got some experience with some, I got enough experience to know what I'm capable of with that bike. Just too much work. I love it. I'll miss it. It's lots of great memories. I even rode to Baja with Jeremy on it. Alaska, Baja, you know, Idaho BDR, Nevada BDR. I even rode down into Texas. Look at that. I even rode down into Texas Big Bend. A lot of miles on that thing. And I'll say this, like, I did 1,100 miles, 1,140 I think, on that BMW GS Adventure. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that on this, but we're sure the hell gonna try. I'm gonna try to do 1,000 miles in a day. And I think it's just the progression for a lot of people. They want to, you know, street bikes, and they want to start riding something that gives them mostly street bike, but then a little off-road. And then once they start getting a little off-road, then they determine, like, do I want more than this? Like, is this too much for me? Like, some people don't want to go further off-road, you know. Some people do. It's a phenomenal bike because it gets you into the adventure world. It got me into the adventure world. It got me riding off-road again. And it got me, you know. But my problem is, it's awesome bike, but my problem is, it's just too big. It's too heavy. I don't need that kind of power. I don't need to carry 2 people. I don't need to carry a ton of gear. I'm 155 pounds myself. So with 50 pounds of gear, I'm like 200 pounds. And one thing on, like, those big adventure bikes like the BMW GS, when I shift my weight around, it doesn't really have that much effect. It's just so heavy. It's a 700-pound bike, and I'm pushing my 155-pound ass around. It doesn't really, I mean, you could tell, but like on this bike, I can tell much more when my body position is in the correct place. Like, it just has more effect on the bike, which is gonna make me better long term, I think, because then I'm gonna realize really where I need to be. Because let's face it, like, Chris Birch is awesome on these big adventure bikes because he knows how to keep balance. He knows where to shift his weight to keep balance, to let the bike do the work, you know. And like that's what keeps you from getting tired. So like, if you lack skill and you get caught out of balance or out of position, the weight out of position, you're fighting it all the time. And the heavier it is, the harder, the faster you're gonna get tired. Get exhausted quick. But I'm kind of just rambling with no particular order. It's just a lot of things I'd like to say about it. I have some memories, cherished memories with it. You know, with some friends, some lifetime trips that you just never forget. And you build bonds with those people, you know, and you do with the bike, you know, and it did me good. It did me real good. Yeah, buddy, this trail's awesome. And I'll tell you what, if I was on the BMW GS Adventure right now, I don't know that I would have kept going, man. It's a lot of work to hold this baby up. And this bike here, like this 21-inch front wheel, just like, it's going for me. And I'm a little winded, but like, I am not like gassed. And I'm not worried that like, if I drop this thing, how the fuck am I gonna pick it up? But look at that view. I'm gonna get it all on the way down. Because my goals have changed, and I want to do more off-road, and I want to do a little more technical stuff off-road with these adventure bikes. I still want to be able to, you know, move on the tarmac. I still need highway power. Look at this. I still need highway power, but I want more off-road. So I really think the midweight class is where I'll be probably the rest of my life. Just because I don't need the power, I don't need the extra, you know, cargo capacity, I don't need the extra person on top. Right now, I don't know if this KTM 790 is the bike for me, but I know the middleweight class is. And I'll say this bike is awesome. The 790 is awesome. And I will miss the BMW GS Adventure. Phenomenal, phenomenal bike. And mechanically, I didn't have any trouble. It didn't give me any hassles, really. Didn't leave me stranded, that's for sure. This old girl has, but I believe she's gonna make up for it. But yeah, will I regret selling the BMW GS Adventure? I don't know. Who really knows? You don't really know. It was a good bike, and yeah, I'm gonna miss it. So is there a chance I'll regret it? Possibly, but if I regret it that bad, I'll just get another one. But I really think the middleweight class is for me. Let's get a little cooler up here. It was 68 degrees in the valley. Let's see what we're at here. 50. I'll miss it, but I won't regret it. It's a phenomenal bike, but I'm doing other things now. It's like a conservative girlfriend who did you good for a long time, but now you met a stripper and you want to run a little wild. Cause this KTM's like a stripper. She is. She's hot, she's wild, she's on fire. But she wants to run. She's good to go. But she high maintenance? Yeah. Might have to give her a stripper name. Trixie or something. The BMW is a phenomenal bike. And it's a very popular bike. And for good reason. Like, it does a lot of things pretty damn good. And I would never tell anybody not to buy one. I think you need to experience one. And like, I'll go ahead and say it, like, I love adventure riding. And BMW pretty much started it. You know, they marketed it for that, and maybe just being Ewan McGregor's guinea pigs and giving them bikes was the thing to do that started it, but at least they agreed to do it, so it started this whole adventure market, and I'm happy for that. And the BMW GS Adventure is the grandfather to adventure riding. People might argue that, but I don't care. It's a phenomenal bike, and it's the shizzle. It's just time for new stuff. Look at that. Kapow. Pretty sweet. Alright, I'm gonna head back down. This view should be pretty good. But I would never discourage somebody from buying a BMW GS Adventure. The 1100s, the 1150s, the 1200s, the 1250s. They're phenomenal bikes. And BMW is a good company. You know, I never had a problem with service, but I was at a good dealership in St. Louis. So, like, I think if you just got a good dealer, it goes for any kind of brand, really. It can be alright, but... And I'm glad that I owned it. And I ran one for, I don't know, 3.5 years. Between a GS and a GS Adventure, 3.5 years. About 75,000 miles. I did like 23 on the one and like 48 on the other. She's gone. But we're down to one bike in the Ride stable, and that's the KTN 790 Adventure. I got things to do to work out on this, ride modes and set all that up, and the suspension I want to set up and all that kind of good stuff. I just had to get out and ride. I got my Scott steering stabilizer on, and it feels pretty good riding. You know, I got a windscreen coming, Madstad windscreen coming. I already got it. I gotta put it on. I need to get it on because I need to ride it off-road to see how it's gonna handle off-road. But yeah, I'm up here and there's no cell service up here. If something happened, I'd be fucked up here because I don't have my inReach on me. But yeah, I'm not even 25 miles from downtown and I don't have cell service. Look at this view. Awesome. Yeah, and I get the ride modes adjusted. I'll be getting the front wheel up and I'll be getting the wheels off the ground. Pretty awesome trail though. It's called what? Griffith Trailhead. Griffith Peak Trailhead is what's up there at the top. This is like Harris Springs Road, I think. But yeah, that's why I sold a BMW GS Adventure. Just doing a little different type of riding now, and I want something a little more suited for it. But the BMW GS Adventure was a phenomenal bike for me and gave me plenty of memories and miles, trouble free, other than having to pick that bitch up. No, for real. But The only thing I miss about it right now is the wind protection. And I got a windscreen coming for this one. And my heated grips. I gotta do something about these hand guards and the heated grips. Since I don't ride in the winter that much, I might just buy a set of like gauntlet Gore-Tex gloves just to put on, carry with me and put on in case I get in the situation. Cause man, I really try not to ride in anything less than 50. I might get caught in some shit that's like 40 something, you know what I mean? But I don't plan on riding that shit. I try to avoid it at all costs. You can call me a fair weather rider, cause yeah, I don't want to go north until it gets warm, and I'll stay south until it does. Look at these views. Look at that. Hell yeah. Because why not? How can I not show this stuff? This is an awesome trail. I'll be coming up here more. I'll hit this a little more on the regular. But hell yeah, I hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're a BMW guy, make sure you stick around. Because I'm going to do a lot of adventure riding anyway. You'll be able to see a lot of these trails and a lot of these routes around here while I'm doing or not. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.